We are back for the first time in about a month. Emerson, how you doing today?
I am well, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Nick, how you doing today?
I'm doing extremely well, and getting this bar up here,
Was a
up
pain in the
a
ass.
flight of stairs, not a set of stairs, a flight of stairs was extremely difficult.
We moved. We're not in a garage anymore. We're not at Nick's house. We're in a actual building on the second floor downtown in our hometown.
How does it feel to have heating and air conditioning? I want to know.
Dude, it's great.
It's a nice upgrade. Welcome
great.
to the 21st century.
It's good change.
All you
It's
guys
good change.
watching our last videos, whoever watched it, we were just plumb miserable in there when it was wintertime. It was bad. But now we got heating and air. We got up here, we got all of our transfers. We got our 2022 recruiting class. And we also decorated it a little bit. But we'll get into that later. So, fellas, let's get started. It's been a while since we've been on here. I want to ask you guys, with how Oklahoma football is going right now, in February of 2022, are you guys happy? And what sticks out to you guys? Who shall I start with? Nick or Emerson? Who wants to go first?
Doesn't matter to me. I'll go ahead and start.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Nick, yeah, you take it away, Nick.
Okay, so Oklahoma has obviously kind of been in a rough place. 2-3 months ago, Lincoln leaves us. Whatever, that's gone now. We get uplifted. We have Jeff Lebby, probably the best assistant available, coming in being our offensive coordinator. We get Brent Venables, one of the best defensive minds all of college football. You get that combo, and there's a bunch of guys, Jerry Schmidt is going to just reprogress the whole strength and conditioning program.
He's already doing it now.
Yeah, you can see it in their videos if you follow them on whatever social networking you choose. And then, drawing a blank on his name now. Dude from Clemson, D-line coach.
Oh, Todd Bates?
Yeah, Todd Bates. Yeah, great recruiter. Going to be able to recruit in SEC territory like he's been doing and put guys in the draft. So that's the big takeaway for me.
What about you, Emerson? With how it could be, with how it could be, and it is now.
Yeah. Listen, from where we were from, I remember when we first started, recording the episode, right after Lincoln left, and like Kobe McKenzie had decommitted, and he was the longest committed high profile athlete in the class, and everything was we were preparing for doomsday. We were preparing for Oklahoma to be in the 50s, 60s, 70s in recruiting, and everything to fall apart, people to leave the team. In droves, by the dozens. That's what we were expecting. And it really didn't happen. Yes, a couple people left. We lost a couple of high-profile guys. But, that was all kind of expected. And then, Brent Venables came in, and he put together a really good staff, top to bottom. I mean, you have Phil Lodeholt on the staff. You have, so many of these guys that, played at Oklahoma and know what it means to be a Sooner. And it's a family, how he talked about. And I think that he's assembled a really good staff, for on-the-field production as well as, off the field, supporting the players with, that soul thing and everything else going on that he's got with, Caleb Kelly and Jeremiah Cradell and stuff. But, yeah, I think the program's in a great direction. Obviously, we're going to have to see how it equates on the field. But right now, and with recruiting, they just finished top 8 class in the country, or number 8 class in the country, and then the number 4 class, both according to 247 Sports, in the transfer portal in recruiting. So obviously they got it. I mean, very, very little fall off as far as measurable production so far from the Lincoln Riley era with Brent Venables. So you really can't ask for anything more. And like you said, Todd Bates, great hire. Jeff Lebby, great hire as far as on the field production. he obviously retained a lot of the big name guys on offense. Bill Bedenbow, Cale Gundy, Joe John Finley had already been there, and DeMarco Murray. And then, Jerry Schmidt comes back. Obviously, everyone knows how great he is, and how effective he can be. And then, Jay Valai, a guy that was at Alabama. All these guys have Ted Roof. He won a national championship, right? So say what you want, but I think it's a lot. I think it just goes to prove, how spoiled we are as fans, as Oklahoma fans, with just how great this program is and how well it's run.
Yeah. With that being said, out of all of this, I just need one thing from you guys. Just one thing. We don't have a whole lot of time. One thing, Nick, that sticks out to you out of all of this.
Out of just
the transfers, the recruiting, the coaching, how 2022 is going so far, just one thing that sticks out to you.
Just the fact that just kind of how weak I felt the team was, and within the last couple of years, probably the last 5 years, seems like our guys were smaller and they were kind of going for the speed, but that's all going to change with Jerry Schmidt. I think that's such a huge factor. I think they're going to be so much more physical and tenacious and just in the way that they play. And, yeah, that's the big thing for me. And then complementing that with Venables and Levy. You can't beat that in an offseason.
What about you, Emerson? What sticks out to you?
What sticks out to me is that I think everyone inside the program at Oklahoma knows what's coming when they go to the SEC. And they know how big of a change it's going to be, how big of a shift it's going to be. And they're preparing for it now in basically every way they can. And I'm not even talking about recruiting and assembling staff and things of that nature. I'm also talking about the support systems that go into a program. I'm talking about donor, you have Thad Turnipseed and people like that in the program now, going around trying to generate funds for Oklahoma and trying to get NIL stuff lined up as well, to where you have something to offer these kids in recruiting and maintain that edge, and things of that nature. They understand that it's a different game in every aspect in the SEC, and there's a lot of money that goes around in that too. And they're getting ready to make it as smooth of a transition as possible in the next couple of years when that SEC transition finally does happen.
Cool. Gonna last question here. Last year, where do you think Oklahoma struggled? And where do you think they're going to be better at this year, Nick?
Well, to me, I felt like it kind of started with the front on the offensive line. I felt like, in short yardage situations or just running the football in general, we never got great pushes. We never had those just gaping holes where you'd see Kennedy Brooks, break out, and he'd make it happen every once in a while, but it wasn't just as common as what we've seen in the past. And in our losses against Oklahoma State and Baylor, we averaged about 3.7 per carry, which that's not how it gets done in Oklahoma. You guys know that. That was a big thing for me. Wide receivers didn't play like they should. Obviously, we lose Hazelwood, Williams, and Woods. But there's some new guys coming up: Cody Jackson, Trayvon West, Jalil Farouk. Personally, Jalil Farouk is my personal favorite. What I saw, just a small taste of what his potential is against Oregon. He catches the ball well, the run after catch. He does it great. He moves in open space very fluently, and he's a very aggressive player. He's not afraid to lower his shoulder and run you over. That's kind of the keys that I wanna see out of this next season. Wide receiver progression, offensive line progression. I think we're gonna be just fine in quarterback play and offensive scheme, because Levy's scheme is also unbeatable. the way he spreads you out with his wide receivers, balanced and running the football and throwing it with a very rapid pace. So it's going to be fun. But it's going to be fun to watch.
Emerson, what you got?
Nick took mine with the offensive line. Go figure. So I'm going to go with just the back end of the defense, and you had the front line. I think they were kind of mismanaged, and Perion Winfrey kind of talked about it in his interview on another podcast. But the defensive line was kind of underutilized. But the back seven, they just struggled way more than you think that they would have. With their talent, you had Woody Washington, you had DJ Graham, Billy Bowman, Key Lawrence, Delarian Turner, Yell, Pat Fields. You had a lot of guys that played a lot of games, and a lot of guys that had a lot of talent, and they still and I get it, the Big 12 is kind of pass heavy, but not so much really anymore. It's pretty balanced, and they just continued to, have missed assignments and missed tackles, and you struggled to get off the field on third down, really. It was really, that was a glaring issue. It was they would give up, it seemed like they gave up third and longs all the time.
So you think year one with the new coach, they're going to improve in those areas?
I think it's interesting to see what it's going to be like having a defensive-minded head coach in Brent Venables, and also a guy that played, that played linebacker, and is obviously that's his attention is linebacker, and it'll be interesting to see how he schemes up a championship defense in the Big 12, considering that he's been able to have defenses that produce year in and year out at Clemson, and not only when against SEC or ACC teams, but also against the best in the country when they get to the college football playoff.
I want to add.
I think that'll be something that's interesting to watch, and they got a lot of it's a completely anyone can start anywhere now. It's the depth chart doesn't mean anything from last year. So It's all about what these coaches see.
Right.
And who they like. So that'll be interesting to watch.
Emerson, these issues that you were just talking about, getting off the field on third and fourth down and missed tackles. You also said we were pretty loaded, what it looked like on paper defensively. That back seven especially. But these issues were happening early in the season, like against Tulane, and it was just flowing throughout the whole season. Missed tackles like crazy. We couldn't stop a slant route on fourth down. It didn't matter what it was. Even against, West Virginia was the whole slant route. You can't stop it. Nebraska, you can't get off the field on fourth down. Even against Tulane in the second half. So, having Brent Venables and his mind around this is huge for Oklahoma, and this is why I wanted him and only him for Oklahoma.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it what did David Agwebu do last year? David Agwebu got worse last year.
I didn't see much of him.
Yeah, everyone was talking about how Shane Witter was the fastest guy on the team last year in the offseason. And he had one good play against Kansas. What are we talking about? Where's the development here? In that back seven. And I think there's a lot of people in the linebacking core, and a lot of guys that have played a lot that really didn't do a whole lot. I mean, even Asamoah, he kind of showed up at the end of the season, but it took him a while to get going. It took him 6 games to really kind of settle in and start attacking. So I don't know.
All right, it's going to be a completely new team, so it's going to be fun to watch. So that's something to look forward to.
For sure.
We're going to wrap it up, but I want one more question from you guys. Quick answer, okay? A quick answer. Without looking too far into it, okay? What's Oklahoma's record next year? Nick, what's the record? Just off the top of your head, what do you think? As of right now.
Excuse me.
I'm gonna say 10-2.
Do they make a Big 12 championship appearance?
I'm gonna say yeah, they do.
Okay. Emerson, what about you? What's Oklahoma's record next year off the top of your head? Don't look at the damn schedule. He's looking at the schedule. You know he has a computer. What is their record next year?
Yeah, I got it.
Look at
I
us.
got it pulled
No,
up.
put
What do
your
you
eyes
want
over
from me?
here.
Dude, I'm gonna say 9-3. I'm gonna say 9-3.
Okay.
They got a brutal run at the end of the year.
My
so
eyes are here.
We'll see.
My eyes are here. Okay, now do they
This
make
is
a
way too early,
Okay.
Emerson. You don't have to break it down.
do they make a Big 12
To the max,
championship
man.
appearance?
Yes.
All right. Sounds good. Emerson. That's Emerson. Anything? There you go.
No.
No, nothing. Please no. We're at like over 15 minutes now. Nick,
That's what I got.
there you go. And I'm Taylor. For those of you that are still watching, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. We appreciate all you guys. Feedback. We comment back. See you later.
Follow us on Twitter.